Good evening. My name is Wesley Carroll, and I would like to introduce two very wonderful people to you. First of all, we have Louise Jackson, who is the CEO for the Women's Bureau, who brought Elizabeth Smart here tonight. Obviously, we have related programs and interests. And now, may I present Elizabeth Smart. And we're just going to open this up for questions. There's no statement. Okay, so if you have a question, just raise your hand. Yes.
Hi. What was it like at some point after your abduction? You had to make a choice on how you wanted to proceed with your life. What made you decide you want to reach out to others and try to help people?
Well, actually, the point in my life that when I decided that I wasn't going to let my experience control my future was the day after I came home. I was walking out of my mom's bedroom. I've been talking with her, and she stopped me, and this has been the most important piece of advice I've ever been given. And she said, "Elizabeth, what this man has done to you is terrible, and there aren't words strong enough to describe how evil and wicked he is, but you don't have to give him another minute of your life. He's taken 9 months that you'll never get back, but that doesn't mean you have to give him any more time. So whatever your dreams are, whatever your hopes and desires are, you should go forward, because that's the best punishment you could ever give him. By feeling sorry for yourself and feeling sad and not being happy and not continuing on will only further give him power over your life, and don't let him do that." So that was the point of my life at which I was like, okay, I'm not going to give him any more power over my life. And from that day forward, I've tried to do everything I've ever wanted to, and up until this point, I can say that I have. And at the point that I decided to start being more active in this arena was I served an LDS mission over in France, and while I was out there, I was working with people all the time, every day, trying to help them and do service for them. And when I came home from my mission, when I finished my mission, I really felt strongly that I wanted to continue to help people and to serve people, and thinking about everything that I've been blessed with and everything that I've been given and the happiness I have in my life and my family made me think about all those other people who maybe don't have that, or who aren't ready to talk about what's happened to them or the experiences they've experienced in their life. So at that point, when I got home, I decided this is what I want to do. And right now, I'm at a time in my life where I really feel like I can do that.
Could you tell us about how your own outlook on life has changed compared to before those horrible 9 months and kind of now, how things have played out?
Well, everybody knows my name now. I would say everyday life is similar to what it was before. My siblings don't treat me any different than they ever did. My brothers are definitely still my brothers, and my friends are still my friends. But one of the things that I can appreciate about my experience is that as I've become more and more involved in speaking out and in child advocacy, I'm not just some girl from Utah, but I have the experience to back up what I'm saying. And so when I say that I know how it feels to be kidnapped and I know how it feels to be abused, people can't just dismiss it and be like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. So if anything, I'm grateful that I can speak about it and that I have a history to back up what I'm saying.
Do you find that programs like yours that are meant to help people move on past or accept and then adjust to what's happened to them, do you find those services lacking? Is that why you wanted to be involved and continue to stay involved in something like this?
There are so many incredible people out there who are doing everything that they can do to help people, to help women, to help children, to help families. And I can't say that I know that it's lacking, or I don't know that it's lacking. I think there are many, many people who are giving everything that they can give. This is just what I can do right now.
Hi, first of all, welcome to Fort Wayne. My name's Devin. I'm with one of our papers here called the Journal-Gazette. And I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about what you'll be addressing tonight. I have to kind of go back and write it, and then I'm going to come back and listen to it. But so could you just kind of tell us what the themes are? Give us just a brief overview.
Definitely. I will be going into, obviously I can't go into great detail because otherwise we'd all be here for the next 9 months. But I will be going into my story a little bit and things that I experienced. And then after I was returned home, and what's helped me move forward, and how everyone has a choice, and that we all experience different things, and someone could go through the exact same experience as I did, but their outlook on it and what they feel like they experienced could be completely different from mine because we are so different. And so talking about how people's experiences are different, and we can't ever fully understand and know exactly how that one other person felt, but how we can turn those experiences around, and how we can not use them as a ball and chain to hold us back, but to use them as a springboard to go forward and to be happier and more grateful for the life that we have today.
I have a question.
Yes.
As you were going through the recovery process, was there anyone that you looked at as far as a celebrity or someone else that had gone through some sort of tragedy, not such as yours, but something else, as an inspiration to you?
Well, I don't think this is a celebrity to anybody else except me, but my mom. And certainly I don't have any children, but I can't imagine if I did have a child, how it would feel to lose that child and think that maybe she was dead or disappeared. But seeing how strong of an individual my mother is, and seeing how she's been able to move forward, and I have 5 other siblings besides me, and so how she can still be, in my eyes, like a super mom, and be there for all my other siblings while dealing with this huge personal loss herself. Well, I guess I didn't see her there then, but afterwards. She is the strongest woman I know, and I only aspire to be like her.
And I think a mom's a great celebrity.
What would your advice be to people who, have a family member or who have a friend who, had to undergo something like this? How would you suggest that they be supportive?
For me, what worked for me, and it might not work for anybody else, because like I said, we are all different. But what was nice for me was just knowing that my friends who were my friends before were still my friends now, and they treated me the same as they had always treated me before. And I knew that if I wanted to talk, that they were there for me, but if I didn't want to talk about it, they weren't going to pry into my life and ask intimate details or intimate questions that I didn't feel comfortable talking about. But just knowing that they were there and they cared about me, that would be the advice I would give.
Did you utilize your love of music? I know that you played music for quite a few years. In fact, music is just such a healing thing, I think, in general. Did it help you?
Absolutely. I think, as cliche as this may sound, but I think music is the universal language, and whatever you can't put into words, certainly for me, I felt like I could put it into my playing. So that was always very therapeutic, and heaven forbid if I ever got angry, certainly playing the harp is going to be better than yelling or being upset with someone.
Are you still playing?
Yes.
What message do you hope gets across to the people who come out here tonight, or even maybe the folks watching any of the TV stations here? What do you hope that they learn?
Just that life is wonderful, and there are so many bad things that happen. I mean, we can turn on the news every day and listen to half a dozen terrible stories, but that for every bad story and for every seemingly bad person, there's so much more good to live for, and so many more good people and good things going on, that we don't need to let the bad ruin the good. It's there. We just don't hear about it, but it's there. I think it's like that common, at least it felt common to me. If you look for the bad, you will always find the bad. And if you look for the good, you will always find the good.
Maybe after speaking, have you had anyone come up to you or maybe during a meet and greet, just say that you sharing your story has really helped them overcome things that they've had to deal with personally in a similar situation?
Have, and it's very, very touching and very humbling, and it makes me feel like what I'm doing is important, and I'm not just speaking to be in the limelight or reaching for attention, but it makes me really feel like I am making a difference, and that it's not just all for show.
It seems like empowerment is a lot of what you're going to be talking about tonight, and a lot of what you believe in. What would you say to somebody who's been in a similar situation as you are in and is struggling to get to that sense of empowerment?
I would tell them to take one day at a time. Start out with little goals, and they don't need to be huge things. It can be just getting out of bed and getting ready for the day, and if that's all you can do, good for you. Like, great, you made a step. It doesn't have to be like a giant step, but you did make a step in the right direction, and continually to set small goals until eventually you don't have to think about getting up anymore. You don't have to think about getting ready anymore, and you can start thinking about like what you want to do, not just what you need to do, and maybe how you can start affecting those around you. And maybe later on down the road, because of what you experience, you're able to reach out and help this other person who's struggling at the time. So I mean, like, there's no magic pill, there's no magic formula that's just going to change everything in one day, that's going to make everything better. Like, my experience just doesn't work like that. But not comparing yourself, just taking things one day at a time.
Is there anything?
One quick question.
Is there anything else that needs to be done on the state or federal level to prevent these sorts of things from happening, or to advocate for people who are in these situations?
There are so many things. I would love to talk about it in deeper detail, but I think we would be here all night. So I think I'll just say briefly to just become aware, talk about the issues, don't hide them. Get in touch with your local government, your state government, just find out what's out there, and reach out to organizations like the Women's Bureau. There are many children's advocacy centers that need help. I would report them.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming, and you're more than welcome to go to the presentation as well. Thank you, and that'll be at 7 o'clock. Thank you.